Hey, everybody. Today we have a super amazing micro habit that can help you transform your business by helping your community members, which is super key in building trust, helping your community members feel more welcome and not feel like strangers and feel subconsciously safe so that there's more posting and engagement in your community. And if that sounds like what you want, then this episode is for you. So I want to welcome you, like always, to the Entrepreneur Expansion Show. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business by implementing micro habits into their lives in a fun, supportive, action-oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. Because let's be honest, folks, how many times have you listened to a podcast or watched a YouTube show, you learned a bunch of things, and then you did nothing with it? So I'm trying to change that game and make it so that you get some return on investment here and you can actually apply this stuff. I have an amazing guest with us today. This is Alayna Zanger, and we met in a really fun community with one of my mentors, Doug Bowen, and she was just like the person who really ran the whole community and made sure that people were engaging and they were a part of it and they were on track and all that stuff. So she's the real deal, y'all. I've actually had personal experience of her keeping me in line in the program. So it's pretty cool to have her on. She owns a business where she partners with hobbyist influencers and helps them monetize their hobby by building paid communities online. So if you're one of those folks that are like, you know what, I've been thinking about a paid community, but I don't know how to do it and all these things, we're going to go into this today. So thank you so much for joining us today.
What an intro. Thank you. I appreciate you having me here today.
It's going to be fun. And like I said, I think people, when they get into communities, they have the best intentions, right? Like, so, I mean, if you've ever fallen down that rabbit hole, folks, where you just all of a sudden found yourself in a Facebook group or a school group or any group, right? And you're like, why did I join this group or what am I in here for? And I think what happens is because they're not hooked right away and they're not brought in right away. So I think what you're going to be teaching today is so powerful because people need to instantly be hooked into it or they're going to fall off right away and they're not going to be want to yeah, you're going to lose them within the community. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, 100%. It's just like if you've ever uploaded a YouTube video before, or if you've had a VSL before, there's always a certain amount of people that drop off right at the beginning. And that's actually just with content in general. It actually works
Totally.
the same way with communities as well, as people get in there. And if you don't have something that's gonna hook them like a video would have a hook, then
Yep.
a lot of them are going to be lost in that first little bit, and then they're not going to engage from then on. And so it's super, super important to put a lot of emphasis on that first little impression that you make with the onboarding of your community. And I think a lot of people just don't realize that, or they don't put a lot of effort into that. It always comes a little bit later in the community when it's too late and they've already not engaged and haven't been hooked into why they should engage in this community.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like it's like if you knocked on the door and I just was like, it's open, and you just kind of walked in and you're like, what do I do next? I've never been to your house before, right? It's kind of weird, right? You would hope that somebody would greet you at the door. When I was running my fitness facility, I learned this from one of my first mastermind mentors, Alan Cosgrove. He was like, when somebody new comes into the fitness facility, you meet them at the door. Like you meet them and you welcome them into the facility and you have their file right then and there and they're like, who is this person? So you're kind of trying to make it's really making the best first impression, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I love that visual. I often talk about communities being like a party, and how if you were to
Mm,
go to a party and you probably don't know anybody, especially if you're joining online communities, because they're so readily available, right? Paid, there's a little bit
totally.
more of a wall you have to jump through because you have to pay for it. But even if you
Yeah.
pay for it or join it free, you still probably don't know the owner very well. You don't know the people in the group very well. And so just like if you were to go to a party in person, and you don't know nobody in the room, it's very daunting, scary. For
Yeah.
me, like
Yeah.
my natural reaction is just kind of to go into the back and just kind of observe and not
Totally.
really do anything. And so, yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah, and I think also another thing that happens, and this is good for everybody to understand, when they come in, they're already kind of overwhelmed and there's a lot of information and there's a lot of people and or maybe there's no people and there's no information, right? So there's can be a lot of different vibes that they come into. And so it's our job almost to be a guide. I always say for my clients, I'm like, you don't want to be the friend and you don't want to be the guru. You want to feel like a guide, like somebody that can lead them along in a process. And so do you feel like there's when you do this, and we'll talk about this as we go into the mini habit right now, is it automated? Is it something where you're connecting with them? What's the best way? What is this magic mini habit that helps people feel good?
Yeah, so this mini habit, right? The goal of it is really to make it so then these people don't feel like a stranger. Because, like we've been talking about, when they feel like a stranger, they have a fear to post, to
Totally.
engage. Just like with that party analogy, I'm going to go to the back of the room and just observe and then probably leave because it's just like, why am
Yep.
I here? And so it's really important, I think, for the very first step, when somebody joins your community, is as the owner, get in touch with every single new member that joins via DM. And so the nice thing about a lot of these community platforms is they have that opportunity for you to directly message your people that come into your
Yeah.
community, right? Facebook, you've got Facebook Messenger, School has a DM feature. There's probably tons of other community apps and features out there that have something similar where you can literally, the
Totally.
minute that they join, reach out to them. But I think where a lot of people go wrong with this is that they either try to sell them or try to tell them what to do next. And
Mm,
that's where I was struggling, is that I was telling them what to do next. So it was like, hey, welcome. Go in and watch this onboarding video and then let me know what you think, right? Or people are like, hey, get on a call with me, right? Type of thing. But I think what's really important is to instead try and connect with them on a personal level. So if we kind of take that party analogy and you greet them at the door, you're not going to just immediately be like, okay, let's go like explore the party and I'm going to introduce you to all these people. You're going to be like, hey, like, welcome. What brings you into the party today? Like, it's so great to meet you. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. And that's the whole idea of having that personalized kind of DM that's asking them about themselves. And
mm,
you can do it automated. You can do it automated. It's just about really having a good question that helps people feel heard and seen by you. So if you're able to come up with a really good question that connects with them automatically, then
yeah.
totally do it automated. But start with personalizing first and getting to know them first before you tell them the next steps or before you try and sell them anything.
I love that. And it made me think like if you think about when you go to a party, if somebody at you right when you come in, they're like, "Hey, what do you want to drink?" That's kind
Yeah.
of like the first vibe coming into the party. Now you want to be there. You're like, "Oh, get me a seltzer, whatever it is, right? If
Yeah.
whatever you're getting into." So I love that, and it just makes people feel really like brought in, all that stuff. I totally find the people, you know, hey, let's sell them right away. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that vibe. Unless they raise their hand and say they want to jump on a call with you. That's a different
Right.
story that, when they're answering the questions, I'm fine with that. But I think
Yeah.
most people are just coming in to get a taste test. They're trying to see, is this a good place? Is this place that I feel comfortable with and that I vibe with? So that's awesome. So you're asking them in the direct messenger, you're saying, hey, welcome. What would you like to drink? Or whatever we decide the question is. And
Right.
then once they're in the group, how do you motivate them or inspire them to make their first post in the group?
Mm. Well, I think it first starts by doing something a little bit smaller than that. And that's
Love
by
that.
asking them to just engage in any way. And the liking posts is one of the easiest things to do because
Totally.
we can kind of think about it in levels, is that liking is the easiest, then it goes commenting, and then it goes posting. Because for
Mm,
posting, right, you have to really feel comfortable. You want to kind of see what the vibe is. You sometimes you get into some groups and you feel like you have to post about the right answer or the right
Yeah.
thing. And so it's a lot to ask people to just post right away. And I bet that there's people listening who have done this before in their own communities where it's like, make your own welcome post. And that in and of itself is really daunting.
It's a
So
lot.
what I do and have seen that works really well is after you've been talking to them to a little bit in the DMs, you can be like, "Hey, like this post I just made, this actually may really relate to you. Do you just want to go like check it out? And
Mm,
if you like it, just like the post." And
yeah.
then what happens is that they go and check it out, they like it, and then maybe they
Love
start
that.
scrolling through the comments and they're like, "Oh, actually I can respond to this." And then they respond to a comment and then they're like, "Okay, I'm starting to get the vibe." And so then maybe a couple days later, they'll then end up posting, or you could even make a post as yourself and being like, "Hey, I want anybody who's doing this or doing this right now to like comment below or make a post themselves." And so then you can almost kind of encourage that with the posts that you make as the admin. But we got to start small, and I think
Love it.
it's been kind of accepted nowadays to just be like, go get in, welcome yourself, and then start chatting with people. But we got to start with a little bit less resistance there in the beginning.
I love this. And I always say, and I've said this on the podcast a couple times, it's like, if you wouldn't do it in the real world, don't do it online. And it's funny because if you think about it, I mean, I'm one of those random people. I'm a pretty outgoing person. So I would go into a party
You're one of
and
those that are like
I would
everybody.
go in and I would just say, "Hey, everybody, I'm Matt." Like I would introduce myself to the party, but most people, that's literally their worst fear, like
Yeah.
devastating fear. So I think this method is huge, and it also started to make me think of. So for those of you listeners that didn't know, I was a teacher. I taught kindergarten through third grade physical education for many years. And one of the things that came up when you were talking about that my brain was like, oh yeah, especially when the kindergartners would come in, like the first day, they're new to the school, they're new to everything. Like it wasn't like just jump in and start playing. Some of them that freaks them out. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, here, just hold this ball, or you can just watch the game so you can get a good vibe for it. So that really that clicked a lot for me when it comes to like the psychology of getting people feeling confident and safe in order to move forwards and go into that direction. So
Yeah.
super cool. So
100%.
if we were to give them the quick like snippet, 90 seconds or less, like what's the mini habit that we want them to go do?
Yeah. So in your community, whether you have a Facebook group, a school community, anything like that, take a look at the first touch point that you have with the person. And so if you have an automated message that's going off, that's fine, but look at it and see what it's asking. And if it's asking them to go to the next step or sells them, I encourage you to change it to just a simple question that's personalized to your audience. So, depending on what you do, right? Let's say I'm a gardener and I have a gardening group, right? Then you could change that question to being like, when did you first get into gardening? Or what's your favorite plant? Or something like that to really create that connection. And so think about, all right, what's something related to what I do that's personal and that would get somebody easily talking? And then just switch that out in your automated message. And then when they get into the group and they respond to that, like
Nice.
respond to them quickly and get back to them as fast as you can. And then you can start kind of getting them integrated into the group and having them like and comment and post. One other thing I'll mention that's been super helpful is connecting them with other members who are similar to them.
Cool.
And you can do that in the comments. So you can, let's say this person comes in and they're from Arizona, right? It'd be like, oh, Alayna's from Arizona. And so then I would literally tag them in a comment and be like, hey, name who just came in. Alayna's also in your area. So just wanted to connect you two, because then you're connecting people who have things already in common, which makes it then
Love
even
it.
easier to connect.
I love it. Little bonus micro habit there, folks. So I love this. This is so simple, and yet you all know the reason we try to make this so simple is so you actually go do it. So if this mini habit sounds like you're up for the challenge, I challenge you to go into the school community and comment committed. That you're going to now implement this into what you do. And every time you do it, every time you welcome somebody, You get to comment on the post below, and yeah, you get points for doing that. And one other thing around this is like this kind of might feel like a one-time action, especially if you are like automating it. But that's fantastic, folks, because this is going to pay off in a massive way, right? Relationships, I've been saying this on the podcast for a while. Relationship marketing, relationship building, relationships is going to be the currency of the future, y'all. With AI and everything that's popping up, people want to get to know you. So, like I say in all the other episodes, Alayna and I are real people. Feel free to connect with us in the group. Feel free to connect with us on the internet because we want to help you, want to support you. So if they were looking for you on the internet, where would they find you?
Yeah, so my name's pretty unique. So you can literally just look up Alayna Zanger. It's Alayna with a Y. Alayna Zanger on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm pretty active on those two places. I'm also pretty active on X as well. So if you're on
Cool.
X, then check me out there. If you're wanting to talk about community building, then you can go to yourclientsuccess.com/let's chat, and we
Nice.
can talk about how to build a community.
Perfect, y'all. And I'll put all those in the show notes as well as in the community that you can easily access and learn how to really make this a place where people engage and connect. And I will tell you, this is one of those mini habits that will not only build amazing relationships and connections that build other amazing relationships and connections, but this is how money starts to flow, folks, because people pay people that they know, like, and trust. Okay. So I love this. Thank you so much. This is fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like always, y'all, in order to make this happen, we got to go show up, take action, and you will get results. Have a great day.